new NFL season. My NFL prediction video, still one of my most viewed videos of all time. My NFL Weekly review videos, basically what helped get my channel off the ground in the early days, helped push me up to 1,000 subscribers. So, even though I've taken a bit of a step back this season, I'm not paying as much attention to the NFL this year because as a Seahawks fan, quite frankly, I don't have too much to look forward to. It's kind of just a wait and see here. I want to be true to one of the foundations of building this channel and do NFL videos again. One last thing before we get into my week 1 predictions. This is the last video that I'll be asking for Q&A questions. I've gotten a ton of good questions, like I have so many of them, way more than the last time I did a Q&A video, so I'm very excited about that. But this is the last video I'll be asking. If you have anything you want to know, or even just a statement you want me to read out just like I gave for the Q&A video, boom, boom, boom. And I'll do my best to get to each and every question that you guys ask, obviously, unless there's something that's like wildly inappropriate or too personal or something like that, but anything else, free game. So, any questions you want to ask me, leave them in the comments down below. But without further ado, week 1 predictions for the NFL season. Starting off, we'll do the AFC divisional games, then we'll do the NFC divisional games, and then we'll stop. We'll finish up with our intra-divisional games. So first we have the Indianapolis Colts versus the Houston Texans. The Colts were a great team last season. They had Jonathan Taylor, who was like a top running back in the league. Let me look. I pulled up here the preseason stats. The Colts went. Where are the Colts? The Colts went 1-2 in preseason. Their final game beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But it's preseason, so you're not really looking too much at the record, just kind of at who's shining, teams that are kind of clicking a little bit. But I think Houston, they're not gonna be a very good team this season. I don't think I'm saying anything out of pocket by saying that. This looks like it's gonna be another down season for Houston. They're weak at a lot of positions, and Indianapolis is one of the best, if not the best, running back in the league. They have a good offense, and I have to go the Indianapolis Colts. Oh my god, you can do ties. That's funny. No, I'm going with the Colts. Alright. I probably won't try and take too long with all these. I'll probably try and get through this relatively quickly. Also, somebody asked me about fantasy football. They really wanted me to do fantasy football. I've never done fantasy football before. I've done fantasy basketball, fantasy hockey. I don't really know what I'm doing. I might do like a fake draft or something where it's like me and a computer, if that's even a thing you can do, and just see how I do. But it's definitely something I'd have to look at because like I said, I've never done it before. So I might do that in the future. I'll see. Next up, Steelers versus Bengals. The Bengals coming off of a loss in the Super Bowl to the Los Angeles Rams. Bengals are going to be eager to get back into that position, and with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, my favorite young duo in the league right now. I think they are in decent position to do that. And the Steelers, this is going to be a down year for the Steelers. It's going to be a rebuilding year for them. So I think the Bengals will pretty comfortably beat the Steelers in that matchup. Jets versus Ravens. Zach Wilson got hurt in preseason, unfortunately for the Jets, so their young quarterback, who they were hoping would have a breakout season after having an okay but not great season his rookie year, his season has unfortunately been cut short. It was, I believe, an ACL tear, and he is most likely not going to play this season, so that is a big hit for the New York Jets, who will even be starting for the Jets. Let me look at their preseason record here. The Jets went 3-0. Actually, that's kind of funny. The Jets went 3-0 through preseason. This is all last season, isn't it? This is all last season. They don't have the preseason stats. But they have Mike White, who will probably be starting, I imagine. But yeah, I don't think this is going to be a great season for the Jets. Unfortunately, their best piece got hurt. I have to go Ravens on this one. Patriots versus Dolphins. Interesting matchup because they kind of had a blow up at like a joint practice they did during preseason, which the idea of a joint practice is so dumb in the first place. But it's like a thing teams have to do apparently. But there was like a bunch of fighting and people like getting hurt and all this sort of stuff, and it kind of blew up in a preseason game a little bit, and I have to imagine there might be some lingering animosity through this week 1 game. The Patriots, this is probably the weakest Patriots team in a while. Mac Jones, he was alright, he was pretty good last season, but I'm still not convinced on him being the long-term solution at QB for the Patriots. I think they're probably going to be the 3rd seed in the AFC East, and I'm actually going to give the Dolphins, who I think will be the 2 seed in the AFC East, the nod in this opening matchup. Also, the Patriots have always struggled against the Dolphins, even when the Patriots were good and the Dolphins were bad. Okay, Chargers versus Raiders. Looking at the odds on this game, too. Let me see. This one I think is actually pretty close because I was kind of looking at some of the stat lines here coming into just to get an idea of what bookies thought. I think this one was pretty close if I remember correctly. Yeah, these teams are about as even as you can get. The spread is -3 in favor of the Chargers. So I basically predicted to win by a field goal. Super tight game. They're like a -150. Las Vegas is a +178, so it's so even. I'm gonna say in Los Angeles, you have a lot of Raiders fans. In LA, plus traveling fans. The Chargers, they are a good team. I'm really big on Justin Herbert. I'll always talk up Justin Herbert. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. But I think the Raiders are going to edge them out in Los Angeles with both away and home support in their favor. So that's my prediction for the AFC. I have the Colts beating the Texans, the Bengals beating the Steelers, Ravens beating the Jets, Dolphins beating the Patriots, and Raiders beating the Chargers. Kind of alternated there. Was not my intention. Niners versus the Bears. Niners just signed Jimmy G to like the best backup quarterback deal of all time. Something along those lines. Chicago, I think they're going to be better than they were last season, but I do think that, they're not going to be amazing, and even though I do have questions around quarterback at San Francisco, I don't think, what's his name? Justin Fields, right? Hold on. I get Justin Fields, funny enough, confused with the quarterback for Chicago. Yeah, Justin Fields is the Chicago quarterback. Trey Lance and Justin Fields, I get confused. I don't think Trey Lance is the long-term solution at QB for San Francisco, but even if Trey Lance doesn't have a great game, I still think San Francisco should be favored against Chicago. They have a really good offense, good defense. Chicago is still a young team, so Niners beating Chicago in Chicago. Eagles at Lions. As much of a feel-good story as the Lions are becoming, they're getting like a lot of love on social media and Hard Knocks and all that stuff. At the end of the day, they are still the Lions. They're still not going to be great. Historically, they don't really, everybody knows who the Lions are. They're a bit of a meme. I'm going Eagles over the Lions. That one's pretty easy for me to do. Saints at Falcons. I believe that Vegas has the odds at the Falcons having the worst record in all of football this season. Like, they are the favorites to get the number 1 overall pick right now, according to the Vegas betting lines. The Falcons are just a terrible team. I don't really see them winning more than 2 or 3 games this season. And I think the Saints pretty easily beat them there. And I'm seeing now, like, I'm picking all away teams in the NFC, but am I saying home field advantage doesn't really matter? I don't know, maybe against some of these bad teams, but Green Bay at Minnesota. Packers, I mean, they've just been consistently good. Even though they did get rid of Devontae Adams, I still think that even a Green Bay team that should probably be slightly worse than they were last season should still be good enough to beat this Minnesota team, but I do think it'll be close. And yeah, according to the Vegas line, this is even tighter than the Chargers-Raiders game. Green Bay is a minus 130. Minnesota is a plus 110. Green Bay is a 2. The spread is 2 in favor of Green Bay. So they think Green Bay will win by a safety, basically. A super tight game in Minnesota. I wanted to say Green Bay originally, but you know what? I'm going to go Vikings beat the Packers. And that might just be my dislike for Aaron Rodgers coming through. Maybe I'm letting that color my opinions a little bit, but we need a home win as well. It's a super close game. Maybe that home field advantage will make up the difference in what should, according to Vegas, be a close game. And the Vikings could prevail. Finally, Buccaneers at Cowboys. I want to see what the line is on this game, because I feel like this one's probably going to be pretty close as well, but Tampa Bay is super close. The smallest spread of all, 1.5 point favorite for Tampa Bay. Super close, minus 120 Tampa Bay, plus 100 Dallas. Basically even odds. But I'm going to go first game of the regular season, Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. Fired up fans. An older Tom Brady, which I know it hasn't mattered to this point, but eventually it's going to have to start mattering. Give me the Dallas Cowboys beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So for our NFC conference games, I have the San Francisco 49ers beating the Chicago Bears, the Philadelphia Eagles beating the Detroit Lions, the New Orleans Saints beating the Atlanta Falcons, the Minnesota Vikings beating the Green Bay Packers, and the Dallas Cowboys beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now let's get to our big game, the main headlining game of Week 1, our Thursday night football game, the Buffalo Bills versus the defending champion Los Angeles Rams. I think the Bills are going to be very hungry this season, and they know that they need to come out of the gate and make a big impact, make a strong name for themselves right out of the jump, because if they don't and they allow themselves to get down a little bit, that other teams that are hungry, that maybe see them as the obstacle, can potentially leapfrog them, right? and it was kind of a shock to everybody, especially when they hit a bit of a lull and they had a few kind of embarrassing losses. So you have to hope either that was just a fluke and it doesn't happen again for their sake, or maybe it's a concern and that could happen again this season. We'll see how it goes. But I also think the Rams did get slightly worse from last season. They lost OBJ. Where did OBJ end up going? Where did Beckham go? Did he go Odell Beckham Jr.? Did he go to... Wait, I thought he went to the Bills, or was that just like him trying to get signed to the Bills? It was. He's actually not even signed right now. That's kind of funny. But yeah, I do think that the Rams did get slightly worse. Also, apparently, Stafford is dealing with some wrist issues or something like that. This is a super close game. Plus 115 Rams, minus 135 Bills. Bills are 2.5 point favorite on the spread. But I just have a feeling that with the Rams, they've already been there, done that. They are a very good team. They have a great defense, good offense, Cooper Kupp, Stafford, obviously. But I have to question, like, coming off a Super Bowl win, how motivated are you going to be? They've spent the offseason partying, having fun. I think the Bills take it. I'm going to say the Bills take it. Jaguars versus Commanders. I still hate the name Commanders. I wish they would have stayed the Washington football team. Trevor Lawrence needs to have a bounce-back season. He looked really bad his rookie season. He had a lot of interceptions, was not getting a lot of touchdowns, was just getting swarmed, making bad decisions. Some people blame that on the Jaguars' offensive line, the play calling. Some people say he was overhyped in college, have never been the number one pick. We'll see. I hope that Lawrence can have a bounce back year. You never want to see a QB struggle like that. But Washington has an amazing defense. I think they actually had some pretty good offensive stats through the preseason. Obviously doesn't mean much, but yeah, Sam Howell had the most passing yards through preseason. Let's see. Yeah, obviously it's not going to be like I don't think he's their starter. Their starter should be, let's take a look at this game. Commanders, who is their quarterback? Is it embarrassing that I don't know that? Taylor Heineke, Sam Howell, Carson Wentz. I don't like any of those options, but I still do think the defense is good enough, and Trevor Lawrence hasn't been good enough under pressure yet that Washington should win this game, beat the Jaguars. Then we have the Panthers playing the Browns. Browns going to Carolina. Baker Mayfield starting, who the Browns released in favor of, he who shall not be named. I think this is going to be a Baker Mayfield revenge game, even though I think the Browns should theoretically be better over this season than the Panthers. We'll see. Apparently Deshaun Watson is going to play before the end of this season, but we'll see what happens. But I think this Baker Mayfield revenge game, I think he'll be very motivated, very angry, and the team will rally around him and spur the Panthers on to a victory over the Browns. At least I hope so. Kansas City versus the Cardinals. There was so much Kyler Murray slander this offseason. They were talking about how he doesn't study film. They were talking about, that was the big one. They're basically saying he refuses to look at film. And they're talking about how a contract for him has to have a guarantee that he'll look at film in it and watch a certain amount of film per week or whatever. So it was pretty funny watching, because obviously a lot of those stories were getting leaked out of the Cardinals front office. Cardinals were predicted to do better last season than they ended up being. I still think they'll be good this year, but I just think the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, they will be better than the Cardinals, and the Chiefs will win this matchup. Giants versus the Titans. I feel like it's just going to be the Titans. Derrick Henry, that offense is New York. Not going to be a great year for them, I don't think. I'm going to go Titans on that. And finally, Russell Wilson returns to Seattle. I mean, I'm a Seattle fan. I know we're going to have a terrible year. I wish I could say, like, the team's going to get up and beat Russell Wilson week 1. But, you know, especially after those comments he made about how he was, like, tired of carrying the team, even though the Legion of Boom basically won the Super Bowl. And he's had, like, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Marshawn Lynch, Bobby Wagner, Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams. Like, he's had these really good players. And he's like, oh, I don't want to have to carry a team. And here in Denver, I don't have to carry the team. It's like, dude, you got carried by your defense, your first Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like, that really didn't sit well with me. So, like, for that revenge aspect of that comment and, like, getting back at Russell Wilson for it, I would, like, want the Seahawks to win that game. But I know, logically, they won't. Even though I do think Denver is being overrated a little bit. Like, there's people saying that Denver's gonna have the best record in, like, in the AFC West. They're saying that, like, they're gonna beat out the Chiefs. They're gonna beat out they're gonna be the best record in the AFC overall. Like, I feel like the Broncos are still being really overrated. I feel like they have good weapons, but I feel like they don't have as good of weapons as some of the other teams in the AFC. So I think, like, these people saying they're going to be better than the Bills, better than the Bengals, all this stuff, like, I think that's very premature. But I do think they will beat the Seahawks week 1. So for our interconference games, I have the Buffalo Bills beating the Los Angeles Rams. I have the Washington Commies beating the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have the Carolina Panthers beating the Cleveland Browns. I have the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Arizona Cardinals. I have the Tennessee Titans beating the New York Giants, and I have the Denver Broncos beating the Seattle Seahawks. So those are my week 1 NFL predictions, and I know this is different than how I did it last season, but I got a lot of flack in the comments last season for how I did it, so I'm adjusting my method here. Hopefully this will be better for you guys, better for me. I get to put out 2 videos per week, both predictions and reviews, guaranteed content. So I hope this works out best for everybody involved. Yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you think of these predictions. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think your favorite team is going to do week 1? What do you think your favorite team is going to look like week 1? Are you excited for the season? Let me know. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this every single day. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.